Hi, I'm Danny. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. This is Kayla. And then Ricky's just outside. He'll join us in just a sec. So we do this meeting every time before we do a London exchange because there's always so many questions. And I think people have a lot of thoughts and ideas of, hi, how are you? Of what the exchange is. And so we're here to clarify it, make it make sense, and answer all of the things. Yes? Cool. So while I'm talking, please have your questions growing so we have enough time to get to them. Yeah. So we started Growing Studio London about, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago. It was fascinating going over to the UK and opening up a company. And I quickly learned that that's kind of where I wanted to stay. So I stayed for about 3.5 years. Yeah. And it was wonderful and exciting and challenging and exhilarating, and I got to do a bunch of shows and just have the best time ever. And I loved it, and it was really nice to be out of America for a while, which is probably why a lot of you are here. I didn't really understand the London theater scene, and I kind of wished like something like this existed. I see a lot of other studios do this with Atlanta or LA or something similar for actors that are interested in going other places. But really, there's no other hub for musical theater except London. You can't really sustain life anywhere else in musical theater. You probably can if you have a day job or if you're unbelievably talented in booking every single thing every second. But it's really hard to sustain a life outside of New York or London, as you know, as a musical theater actor or artist, or as an actor just in general. So we started the exchange program 2 years ago. The first year was great because we learned what to do and what not to do. Nobody had a lunch break, so they were literally running around with like carrots and hummus trying to make the next workshop. And then the second one I think we got just perfect. And this will be our third London exchange. Hi, come on in. It's okay, let me pop you a chair. Cool. So here's a little bit about the exchange, just the nuts and bolts. You probably know all these things, but we're going to go over them anyway if you read the email. The exchange includes round-trip flights. It includes housing. Typically, it's been a true exchange where you've stayed in London actors' housing, and London actors come here and live in your housing. However, after a few rounds of this, we learned that it's not always the best thing. New York works really differently in terms of location and where actors are based. It's pretty fascinating. So in the city, you can pretty much get to Midtown from anywhere where you're at within 30 minutes. Yeah, unless you're in some parts of Jersey or Connecticut or the Bronx or really deep in Brooklyn, or the MTA is the best thing in the world. Most of the time you can get here within 30 minutes. In London, 30 minutes is super rare. Hi, how are you? There's a chair just right here. It's cool. 30 minutes is really rare. Most people are commuting over an hour. It's a very spread out city, and it's a very old city, obviously in comparison to New York, or really anywhere in the US. So roads and infrastructure are not built the same way. They weren't planning to have this many people. So getting into the city is really difficult. London actors commute over an hour every single time. A lot of New Yorkers weren't too thrilled about that, which I can understand. So we decided to go for hotel accommodation instead, which is cool. So we've got some great partners out there. Flights, hotel. My favorite thing about the exchange is meeting with immigration solicitors. A solicitor is an attorney. In the UK, it's a fancy language. And so you get to meet with an immigration solicitor and find out your options to work in the UK. I met with immigration attorneys here before I moved, and I got a lot of information that was really different from what they say in the UK. The US attorneys don't really understand it the same way as UK attorneys do, which obviously makes a lot of sense. I thought that I had to go one route where there were actually 3 or 4 other routes I could have gone. It ended up costing me a lot of money, so I'm still pretty bitter about it. But I really wish that I had that experience. So it's really cool because they tell you all the different avenues you can take. I know automatically we go, there's no way I can work in London. That's not true, which is pretty cool. Kayla did our second exchange. I'm passing the mic in a second to let her talk about her experience. She's heading to London when? September. And we have a couple students who stayed and ended up booking jobs and are now in the West End in shows, which is just awesome and the most rewarding thing in the world. It's pretty cool to see, students from here book Broadway shows. It's really, really cool to see students from here book West End shows. You just kind of feel like a superhero. Call me Superman. What else does it include? It includes at least, sorry, I'll get to it, I promise. Go ahead. Is it about immigration?
It's not hotel, just to go off of what you said.
Yes.
So those accommodations are in the city then to avoid it?
Yeah, so everything is within the city.
Okay, so
it's typically about a half hour, which is what we're looking at. It might be about 35 max, but everyone we partner with is close enough. Yeah. Makes sense? Yeah, nobody actually lives in zone 1. I mean, very, very, very few people. Let's talk about that first, right? So the way that London works, there's 6 different, well, there's more than 6. There's 7, he's from London, so I should probably there are 7 zones, and everything works based on those zones. So the middle of London is zone 1, then around it is zone 2. Around that is zone 3. It's kind of like a dartboard. And you pay for the subway based on where you get on and where you get off, which is really interesting and really different from New York. I think it's a way more efficient system, but that's the UK for you. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So we see 3 West End shows. I think they're going to be, tell me what they are.
Tina Turner the musical,
Yeah.
Six the musical, and Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. They're doing a brand new remount of Mary Poppins, which is pretty cool. Those are still up in the air. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what they could be. What am I forgetting?
Classes and workshops.
The most important thing. We do about 7 to 10 workshops with tons of different people. We try to make it a little bit more London-based, to go over there and, sing for every musical theater casting director, or do a monologue for every, whatever, regional director. It just doesn't really make sense. We want something that's a little bit more London influenced. So we have some things with Royal Shakespeare Company. We do some things with the Old Globe. We also bring in the casting directors of, Wicked, Book of Mormon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which is pretty cool. Sorry?
We have dialect classes too.
All right.
So you can learn in British.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. You jump into a dialect class, you learn exactly how to do what you want to focus on, and then you go in front of a resident director of a West End show that's in a British accent, which is always fun. You either sink or swim. A lot of shows, American shows, are actually done in British accents. So like Wicked is all in different British dialects. So like Bach is Scottish. It's really cool. I know, it's actually a really different show. I'm going to pass the mic over to you to talk a little about your experience, and then I'll start with the next thing.
Yeah.
Tell us who you are and where you're from and blah, blah, blah.
My name is Kayla O'Connor. I am from New Jersey, and going to London in September was the first time I had ever been out of the United States. So that was a really wild experience. And I absolutely fell in love with the city. I thought it was so cool. I thought the differences between the New York theater scene and the West End theater scene are really, in London they care about who you are as a human being and as an artist, and that was a really enlightening moment for me, and I think everyone else that was on the exchange. It was anytime anyone would come in to teach us a class, they would be like, pull up a chair, tell us about you. And I was like, what? I sing and I dance, and they're like, no, who are you as a human being? We care about that. You sing full songs instead of 16 bars and 32s. They really want to get to know you. And I think that was really validating to get such personal feedback and to feel like they actually cared about who we were beyond the singing, and that made me really, really fall in love with the city. The classes were great. We did a Royal Shakespeare and an Old Globe class. We did Wicked. That was our That was our like resident director class. We did a class with a couple of producers, some agents came in.
I will say, I don't want to pause you.
Yeah.
London, the skill set of London actors is very different than the skill set of, they're really different from the skill set of American actors. And I don't mean to put a blanket statement on it, but it's really true. The vocals in London are not what they are in the States. The training is just not the same. The dancers are unbelievable in London. But really, they go to school at 16, they go to college at 16, London actors. And the voices typically are just not as strong here. So whenever we have a London exchange program and agents come in, they want to sign the whole class, which is really cool. It's so different from the US.
Yeah. And so that kind of prompted I ended up applying for schools over there, which is why I'm going in September, October. And so I'm here to kind of answer any questions from the student perspective, or just the what's it like to take the tube every day when you have no idea where you're going perspective.
What's your training here?
My training here.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to CCM in Cincinnati, and
how did you feel your training was in comparison to London and everything you saw there?
I feel like I was very well prepared for the to sing in London. London, I think the acting is amazing, and like Danny said, the dance is amazing, and the vocals are good. So I think I felt very prepared to be there.
Right.
But I think I also came from a little bit of a factory school, and I can admit that. And I know other people in the group struggled to kind of figure out maybe where they fit in the West End industry, where I was like, yep, I could do that. Maybe not so much this one, but like I saw a place for myself.
Cool. Any questions so far?
Yeah, you go to school?
I am.
Where'd you get it?
I was accepted to Mount View Academy, in Guildford School of Acting, and Central School of Speech and Drama. And I'm going to Guildford.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Did you have to apply for like a specific visa to be a student?
Yes, there is a student visa. It's a tier 4, and I am in the process of that application. I got my eyeballs almost scanned today. They didn't scan them. They scanned my hands instead. So.
A big thing with the student thing is a lot of times if you study over there in any capacity, you can then stay for a certain amount of years. You have to start your own company. So what a lot of our students have done is said, I'm a coach, so I coach actors, and that's the company. Or I play piano, so I'm an accompanist, or I'm a dialect coach for American dialect. It's a real thing.
Is it like coach or is it like coach?
I mean, it's a real business, so it's whatever you say you are. And you're really needed, especially for the American dialect. You'd be shocked. I didn't get into any television when I lived here. It just wasn't a thing. As soon as I moved to London, I was on appointments non-stop because they want the authentic accent, and there's not that many of us over there. We're here. Brits are the same thing. They want the real deal, which is pretty cool. So,
Did those schools hold their auditions here, or did you go there for the application process?
I had one audition in New York, but some of them had auditions here, and then for the rest I went over and just kind of banged it all out in one weekend.
You mentioned some of your fellow classmates had trouble like pinpointing where they fit. Could you just give some more detail as to that and like a whole typing here versus typing over there?
Sure. I think it also is a product of, for me, my school was very like, this is your type, this is not your type. So I feel like I've always had an idea of where I fit, whereas not everyone is able to go to school for theater, and not everyone is able to train as extensively as I was lucky enough to, having grown up here. And I think that some people just kind of thought that they were going to go over to London and like be a star, and then they realized that other people are talented too. that's more so where it was a bit of a culture shock, so to speak.
It's really different over there. I can't even begin to. I'll tell you a few things just so you understand where we're coming from. Like Kayla said, there are no 1632 bar cuts. You sing the full song. Actors equity isn't a thing. It's just not a thing. They exist. They don't matter. Really, they don't matter at all. There's tons of people on the West End who are not equity. Margaret Thatcher disbanded unions in the 80s, so now they never came back together. So there's tons of people who aren't union. It doesn't matter because healthcare is free in the UK, so people don't really care. They get the same amount either way. The governing body just doesn't. It's not needed. It doesn't make sense. There's no EPAs or ECCs. That's not a thing. It's all appointment based. Agents are not franchised through the union, so there's over 900 agents in London alone. Obviously, there's the same amount of reputable ones as there are here, but anyone can submit. So a lot of times, actors will get together and form their own agency. Every college in London has their own agency. So when you graduate, you're repped by the college agent. It's a different world. It is so different.
So I mean, it's easier to get an agent?
I find it, being American and being talented, which I'm going to assume you're amazing, it is far easier to get representation. I found an agent in a day. It's different. It's just a different world. You are a valuable commodity there. Really, they need them. You have to understand most of the shows that are going to the West End are American. They're American creative teams. All the things that are opening there are American. There's a couple that open up that are not, right? And then they come over here. But for the most part, Broadway is an American art form. Musical theater is so intrinsically American.
So you mentioned like you guys partner, I guess,
Yeah.
RSC and things like that.
Yeah.
So like what would you recommend having ready to go as part of your arsenal?
So you get a total checklist.
Okay.
We'll send you a list of like, have this prepared, have this. The hardest thing for everyone is the 1632 bar cut thing. Because you're like, I've never sang this full song before. So, and they also, a big, huge thing is when you sing to casting, you look in their eyes.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. You sing too.
Yeah, for monologues, you look in their eyes.
That is the thing that you know that you're supposed to do.
Like, you sing If I Loved You, like deadlocked, looking up.
And that's just a universally known thing, like.
Yeah,
Using
so.
like Andrew C. Turner.
Yes, they encourage that. So some of them are moving past it. Some of them are a little bit different the more they work with American creative teams. Some of them are not. You know, their base is Shakespeare. And Shakespeare is all about communicating with audience and bringing it from the wall.
Yeah.
So they apply that to musical theater. Yeah, it's weird as shit. It takes so long to get used to. Yeah, I hate it.
So it's not just this thing. It's not just it's musical theater. You might be doing little classic shakes. You
Yes.
might be it's all kind of all of it.
100%.
Okay.
What's up?
Do you have like a rough estimate about how much it costs realistically to, not just for this, but to relocate yourself? Like,
I find it's very similar to New York City, to relocating to New York. You have to live farther out in London. There's really no going about it. Even living an hour and whenever outside, you're still going to pay more than what you're paying anywhere in the city. It's a very expensive city. Yeah. London is more expensive than New York. I think things are going to shift in this year because of Brexit and what's happening. But that's just my personal speculation. Okay.
Mentioning on median, so I'm always very aware of like the fact that there are really no swings. What's the deal with
Swings?
So,
Don't talk about that?
and then I was talking to someone because like the pay is a bit different and you
Yeah.
don't really have the coverage. I don't know. Can you speak a little bit
He's
on
done
that?
3 West End shows. I'm going to pick him up, so I'm sure he can tell you a lot more about all that stuff.
What do you mean in terms of like no things?
So there was an article last year that someone had sent me, and like no one
Oh,
could
yeah.
cover internally in the show, and today it's someone who had done the show stepped in. Which
Yeah,
like
so we do have swings. We have the same as you guys. We have swings, covers, alternates, all of the above. But some shows that shouldn't do that, like long running shows that have been there for like 5 or 6 years, they have people that, okay, just for instance, Dreamgirls and the Book of Mormon were running at the same time. And the resident choreographer of both of those shows was in the Book of Mormon at the same time. And then the swing of the Book of Mormon was also the swing
Of
of Dreamgirls.
Wow.
So they would literally have to like,
So-
go in between shows sometimes.
So because Dreamgirls had 2 white guys, and instead of having a white swing who would go on whenever, the white swing was a Mormon in the Book of Mormon. And then whenever someone went off, he would go to Dreamgirls. So,
That way they don't have to pay. There's no rules.
yeah.
You
so
want like your
it's a
final
little
callbacks are on the West End stage. Like it is a different.
But then, like, I mean, 42nd Street had like 12 swings who were just dedicated to that show. So, like, it does vary.
Okay.
It's just certain companies feel like they can get away with being a little too big.
It also helps that Casey's on both shows.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt.
But, so they are. They
And
are
it's
the-
both.
they do.
What's her name too? Isn't it? Producer. So yeah.
Hi. Hi, I don't know if I missed this, but are there dates or like a time you're looking at for?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're looking at the 6th of November to the 17th of November. The idea and what we learned from previous exchanges is that everyone that goes wants 2 weekends to like see the sights. So
Paris and London are like Paris and Amsterdam are like an hour away too. So and the weekends everyone's like going to Amsterdam,
Yeah.
going to Paris. It's pretty cool.
it's very easy to get to either of those places. You can fly, which takes about an hour and 40 minutes or something, I think.
Or Eurostar.
Or Eurostar, which takes about 3 hours, but it's considerably cheaper. It's like $70.
Dollars.
Yeah. So like
Euros.
$85
Yeah.
to get from London to Paris is nothing. But yeah, so we found that students want 2 weekends. So we're doing it so that you fly on the Wednesday, we'll have initiation on Thursday, maybe Friday, and then you'll have the whole weekend, and then we'll do classes Monday through Friday, and then you'll have Saturday, and then fly Sunday.
Two questions. You mentioned briefly Brexit. Is there anything specifically that you know that, I mean, nobody knows what's happening with Brexit, but in general of what might happen in the change between being in the European Union and then not?
Yeah, so it won't affect the U.S. at all. It's
Okay.
like the UK-U.S. relationship.
So like
won't really
immigration and
shift.
that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it's not. I doubt it would shift.
Okay.
The biggest thing is that most international work is actually cast out of London. So, what countries have you worked in that you've auditioned for in London?
Dubai, France, Turkey.
Cool. So like a whole casual, a whole bunch. Where like that doesn't really audition here. Like sometimes you'll do like Disney on Classic in Japan, but that's kind of it. Everything is cast out of the UK. All the international productions are all cast out of the UK for the most part too.
Especially German production.
Yeah, the biggest thing is they bring Brits to Germany. They teach them German for 6 months. They pay to teach them German for 6 months.
They do a training school of the show.
And then you go and do the shows there. And they custom build their shows. So like the theater is built for the show. It's so cool. So that relationship's gonna shift. I don't know what's gonna happen. Everyone is kind of trying to figure it out. South Africa is starting to come up really big now. This David Ian production. It's a whole other thing.
And can you, I'm not sure if you'd be able to, but speak a bit to the difference between a musical theater person going over there and then just a straight actor? I'm not a singer.
Yeah, cool.
Just
Do you want to
the
talk about it?
experience with that?
Yeah, sure. So it really depends. You know, we've had quite a number of actors who don't sing go over. Sometimes, what always happens is at all the Shakespeare stuff, they absolutely slay it. And then the musical theater stuff, they present monologues, and most of the casting characters cast a bunch of plays anyway. Sometimes there's like some crossover that doesn't work. Like if we have a resident director for a West End show, it doesn't make sense. So if that's the case, typically we'll get you like a session with a TV casting director or something similar. Hi.
How about the opposite for musical theater performers that don't really do Shakespeare?
You gotta brush it out.
Giant brackets.
So, yeah, I don't think it was your year. I think it was the year before, but there was like a group of guys who were the best time. There was like 6 of them. And they just decided not to come to any of the Shakespeare
Yeah.
stuff and to go day drinking in London instead. Which is
So there is that
totally,
option.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, London's a really fun town, so yeah.
Hi. So you do this annually, but do you think you do it a few times a year eventually? Because I mean, like,
Yeah, we'd love to. You know, our hope is to do another one in April. I love this studio very much, but as a collective, we typically like try to do everything. You know, we're like, let's do this and this and this, and let's like produce a Broadway show and like build a theater, and like, you know, we're all very like thirsty to help the community and make cool shit. So we have a lot on our plates, but the goal is yes. Hi.
Sorry. How many people usually are on the trip?
Ooh, that's a good question.
16, but we've had 15. I think we had 15 to start with, and I think more than 15. So yeah, 15 or 16 is the typical number. This year we think we're going to have 2 groups run simultaneously at the same time.
We're considering doing one for musical theater and one for actors who don't sing. Yeah, because that way we can load up on more music class or load up on Shakespeare.
That depends on numbers too, if it makes sense.
Hi. How are you?
What is a typical day like on the workshop days? Like, is it class all day? Is it
Wake up, go to the place where your classes are, get some snacks. You have like a morning-ish session sometimes, and then a break for lunch, and then come back for an afternoon session, and then maybe that night we see a show, or you have the night off, or we do something totally fun around the city.
Oh yeah, we have a few secrets that I don't want to give away that we do that are pretty fun, and it's a real bonding experience.
It's pretty fun.
You just
It's pretty fun.
I think we're probably doing the same thing.
Yeah,
It's really
I think
cool.
so.
There's some things that, you know, you might get really spooked out, might
Yeah.
take time, things to say. You have a really good time.
But I feel like I don't think we ever had more than 2 sessions in one day.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was only one, depending on how long it was.
We have an audition season basically because of summer stuff.
Yes.
So what is auditioning like over there in the city? Or on the
So summer stock isn't a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have Christmas where we do pantos. So it's basically our summer stock, but Christmas. So everywhere
What's a
regionally,
panto?
a pantomime, it's basically like
It's
a
not
fairy tale. It's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale story such as like Cinderella, Snow White, Aladdin, any of the above. But they make it into like a children's show, family event for the Christmas holidays, and they typically run for like 2 months.
And they use like pop charts of today.
Yeah.
So like Aladdin will be like, Jasmine, you used to call me on my cell phone. And you're like, oh my god.
It's not that drastic, but it is fun. And it typically runs like November, December, and then January is always dead anyway because no one's there because it's cold as shite. But so typically those 3 months are what we would consider here as summer stock. So typically auditions don't really happen then. There's 1 or 2. And then pretty much we have maybe like 5 or 6 auditions a month throughout the year. It's not like here, there's not like 12 auditions in one day, and you have to decide like which one to go to.
There's,
Well, it's extreme,
so regional houses aren't a thing. One guy bought every single regional house. His name is Howard Panter, it's ambassador of the theater group.
Yeah, ATG.
So now if you want to tour or do anything, you have to go through them, and they literally own every single one. It's crazy. There's something else you were saying there that I wanted to talk about.
Just like audition season.
Oh,
Yeah.
another big thing is they recast all of the West End shows every year.
the entire show.
Oh, you want to elaborate?
Yeah, kind of. So like people stay on for sure, but you get a year's contract. It's not just like an open-ended contract. You can decide to leave whenever you want.
Right.
So 3 months before your contract is due to end, you have to decide whether you want to renew or not.
They don't do everybody to do that.
It depends. they don't renew, like they don't cut the whole cast and then renew a whole new cast. But typically, like if the show, like if the Glinda is suddenly way taller than the alphabet, then they have to call in their new recasting Glinda. So like it depends on what
Would you
they
say
see
they
as the
cast
original
half,
show.
less, more?
Probably just under half. People will leave because a year is a really long time.
So it's not like immediate replacement. Like people don't, like
Yeah.
they stay for the full year.
So that's why we have less auditions. Like where typically a show here would have at least 2 or 3 auditions maybe in a year. We just have 1 because they cost every year.
But most of the national tours come to the West End, which is another whole thing. So like you can be on a national tour and they'll come to the West End for 2 months and play a 2-month engagement. Like Hair did, I don't know if you remember that a little while ago. Most of the tours do that, which is amazing.
Okay.
So I guess off this same wording, you mentioned like everyone is like dancer trained there.
Yes.
What if we're not a dancer first? Like we're dancers, but not a dancer first.
Great.
Is that like fine? Like I know waitresses are
Yeah.
there now, but
Look, I always want to be the one who's not like everybody else because I know I'm going to get called in.
right.
Or I know I'm going to book it. I think it's the same for that. You know, if everyone is dancer, and like that's most of their training, and your training is in voice or acting or whatever it is, you really have a leg up. Yeah, but the dancers, if you're a dancer, like it's really hard because they are so good.
There are
I
just
think.
as many jobs for singers who don't dance as there are dancers who sing.
I am.
So you have chosen another school to relocate. What has it been like for other people or your peers that came back? Like, what are the benefits they had? Did they decide to go back? Do they have representation or
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, there are 3 people from the last exchange that are going on the next exchange, which is crazy. Yeah, Blair, John, and Lindsay. Yeah. Yeah, I got an email from them. They were like, can we just sign up? I was like, yeah. Sorry.
I mean, I think, I don't know if I totally understand your point. Like, not everyone has decided to go over.
Yeah, like after you go, like has
Where are
it-
they now?
Yeah, where are they
Oh,
now?
sure,
Have
I-
some people gotten like had representation here and can get it there and like balance it or
Not really on the representation front, but I think every single one of us came back with like a renewed
Sure.
self and a renewed sense of energy. I think we all kind of came back being like, oh, I learned all these amazing things, and I took a breath of fresh air, and now I'm ready to go back into the
Is Jamie here or Marcus?
no.
There's 2 from the first exchange. And Ayla was your one too.
But I don't think anyone else is, or at least yet, has decided to try to actually relocate. But I think some are planning trips to maybe like dip their toes in. To
You're the
figure it out.
first one.
Yeah, trendsetter.
Hi.
Do you bring in schools at all? Like you said, we're auditioning for a couple of
We
different.
don't, only because this really runs the gamut. There are people there that are like, I want to study, I want to do this. We have people with, Tony nominations that are like, I want to do this is so cool, and they're not about to go to school. We want to do something that is best for everyone's time. There was a girl, was Belle? Belle? Belle was, right? I think Belle set up appointments while she was there for school.
Yes.
Yeah, so she
and
like,
I were visiting almost the same time. She
Right.
came back to visit.
got it. So she was like setting them up to make it work for her.
She's doing.
She's going over, isn't she?
She's over there right now doing a RADA 5-week RADA course, but I
Oh,
don't know if she's
okay.
going over to study.
Right, okay.
I'm not really sure what that.
She's like 18.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. With the sign-up process, what is that like? Are there like payment plans?
Yeah, totally. There's a payment plan for anything we do, pretty much ever, just because we're actors and it's ridiculous to ask somebody to not have a payment plan. So we never know how many applications we're going to get. This is a typical turnout. We have about 40 people that aren't here and about 15 that didn't show. We take the first 15 that make the most sense. So it's not first come, first served, but we ask you to write a paragraph on why you want to come. And we typically base it off of that. So like if you have a parent like who's British, you're pretty much in because I know that you can work right away, which is really exciting. If you have Irish lineage, and things like grandparents or like maybe even great grandparents, you can automatically become a citizen.
It's actually great. It's as long as you have some
Yeah.
Irish heritage in your
Yes.
past that you can connect through documentation.
Totally. Also, if you're a member, what? Yeah, there's something like that.
Yeah, that's how I did
Like,
it.
one or two
I did it
days,
through my
It
grandfather.
can't be through like, you can't be here for like generation to generation.
Right. I know it's not multiple. It's a certain. I'm not.
You can, as long as, because my grandfather was Irish. My father got his citizenship through him, and I got it through my father.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, as
Totally.
long as you can connect it back through
Yeah.
enough people.
Also,
you
right
can-
now is the best time because if you have any connections through other European countries, you can be a citizen or permanent resident. Right. Permanent resident. It's like green card. Right. So like if you're, grandma's from Italy or whatever it is, a lot of times you can figure that out, which people have done. Payment plan. So we asked for a paragraph based on why you want to come to London, whether it's from a study or, we try to pick a little bit of everything. I don't want 15 of the same people. I just think that if you have 15 different people, it always goes better. You learn more from everyone else and everyone has a better time. Last exchange, we had a girl who was 18, we had a man who was 65, 64. Yeah, and really everyone spanned the ages, and it was a really tight-knit group, which was great.
Cool, thank you.
You bet. Hi.
Hi, okay, so my mom is a UK citizen, she's never given it up, she's here.
Good to go, girl.
But because she's a woman and not a man, I was not grandfathered into that citizenship.
That's not legal.
At the time, I guess I was born, if it was your father, it would pass through. But if you're a female, you have to go, it was through the mother, anyway, I had to jump through some hoops to do that.
Yeah, I know.
So-
I'm 100% sure you can.
I think I can. I
Yes.
think there's a way I can. Would the immigration people need to speak on that as well in terms of citizenship?
Absolutely, it's a forum. So they start with the different ways to get in, and then you can ask questions based on your personal things.
Does your
And-
mom have the British passport?
She's a citizen.
She is a legal alien, I think they call it. So I think she has an American passport, but it's through like green card or visa or something. She moved here when she was a teenager,
Yeah.
but she will not give up her British citizenship.
I think
so,
you'll be able to do it.
Okay, which also brings me to
Also, everyone's gonna want to marry you if you're not already married.
I am married. So I also have family there. So what would it? Is there an option to not fly back or not fly out?
Yep.
Is that something we have to discuss? Okay.
There's people that
I'm
like.
going all the way over there.
Yeah, there's Ken Marcus, who's from Germany, who
Cool.
came over, and I think afterwards him and a bunch of kids from the exchange went to Germany for like 2 weeks and did German stuff, which is great.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
When will you know for sure if there's gonna be an April one of these?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably after this one is done.
Okay.
We do so many projects that my mind is on other things right now. So I'm trying to figure out those things, and our whole team is. So we probably won't know until after this exchange. It's likely, but I'm not sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Hi.
Do you have any dates as to like when the deadline for the applications due or like the first meeting?
Yes, I think it's in an email. I'm not sure if it's into this group of people that can come. I want to say it's August 16th in terms of wanting to actually make it a thing. So we need to know it by August 16th if you want to come.
And the email that you sent has all the information we would need to know.
Yes.
That's-
Yeah, I'll send a follow-up too after this, just with all info for everyone who's here. Everyone that registered here, just so you can have all your phone in one place.
So like the 2,600 number is the
correct,
number
I
we're going
think.
on. Okay.
2 cents.
Do you guys have any connections with really useful group? I can't remember.
So Cameron, yes, we work with their casting office. It's Paul Wooler and Trevor.
I think
Paul was it.
we are like
So yes, we do with Cameron's office. Really useful. We don't.
So would any of us come in for like a session?
Yeah. Typically, we bring in Cameron's office or Pippa's office, or somebody who passed the majority totally about getting you footage, and we're just like, hey, let's come film this, so we have this. We also, I think last time it was at Above the Arts, it was at Above the Arts Theater, and it's really a way for you to invite like people that you met in London. All the girls end up meeting guys there, bringing them all to the bar.
And the guys.
Yeah, the guys, the girls meet girls, and it ends up being just a whole bunch of people that you've met. A lot of times casting or like this person that you worked with will come, but no, it's not meant to be like, come and showcase at Growing Street. That's not its intent.
This is Brandon. My husband is excellent.
All right.
That gives me any ranch.
Yeah, you're good to go. Yeah, if your husband's a dual citizen, you are fine.
Great.
Hi.
Yeah, to go off of the showcase, are there agent showcasing opportunities, or are they more like workshop and then?
Oh yeah, we put you in front of agents.
Yeah. It's more of a workshop scenario, but Jamie, the girl who went on the first exchange, and Marcus, they both had agent interest from that class. So they met with 3 agents, and Jamie signed with her agent from that class, and then she did Company on West End, she's doing Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, she did.
And she did
Oh, she did Little Miss Sunshine.
Women. Like she got all of those 3 things that she's doing now from the agent.
So you can be considered. So
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, 100%.
And if there is, like, in most of all of us that are trying, what happens in that case? Like, do you meet with them in those weeks, or like
Typically
they'll
they'll
go back?
typically they'll say, are you able to move here now? And if not, then they probably wouldn't meet with you, just because it doesn't make sense. If you're like, hey, I'm moving here, I'll be here in 2 months, they'll meet with you. Yeah.
Flights? Are you guys looking at like certain airlines? Is it direct? Say all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's always direct.
They're always good.
Do you know what you guys are flying?
So since we're technically studying, do we need visas?
No.
Okay.
Interests.
It's just if we decide, if we get signed, and decide to work there, stay, then we have to.
Correct.
Right.
Then it's a different process.
Right, which is usually long and
Um,
painful.
It's definitely a longer process. It depends which route you're going. So there's a bunch of different routes you can go to obtain a visa. It really depends which one you choose. So like marriage visa takes a really long time.
The solicitor tells you all the different ways
Yes.
that you can.
Entrepreneur visa is super fast. Student visa is super fast. It depends on which visa you're on. Any other questions? Yeah.
Something about TV film, is there opportunities to meet cast representing TV films?
Yeah, typically I mean, if we're doing 2 exchanges, to be honest, we're doing one with musical theater and one for actors who don't sing. We'll definitely have a lot of television content for actors who don't sing. We try to incorporate from musical theater, it really just depends. There's so many workshops that we want to do. A lot of times people are like, I don't want to go to another workshop, I want it. So we try to keep it really to maximum 10. And I know a lot of people, before they go, they're like, I want to do as much as I can, but once you get there, they're like, I want to go to Borough Market, and I want to go meet Caleb, who I met last night, and I'm like, whatever. Which is a real thing.
That was my trigger.
I was talking about Caleb, yeah.
Can you just elaborate just a little on what you mean by workshop? So these like a master classes, or like what are you?
So you can talk about it a bit, but they differ based on each one. So everything. Some it's like sing, get feedback. Some are like work on creative archetypes of Shakespeare. I mean, it really runs the gamut.
Yeah, so the agent master classes and some of the producer ones are a little bit more like you get up, you talk about yourself, you sing a song, they give you some feedback. Maybe they'll ask you to do something else depending on what they want to see. We had one woman who was a total actor, and she would do a monologue for every single thing, and it was always very they were happy to see it. For the Shakespeare one, Emma was really great. She put together a whole packet. Yeah, she put together a whole packet, kind of assuming that there would be a mixed level in there, and there was. There were some of us who had had really extensive Shakespeare training, and some of us who hadn't. And she put together a packet kind of explaining how it can be fun and not just like Shakespeare. We did a lot of physical work, we did some sonnet work, and just kind of really broke it down without it being an intimidating process. There was a BBC class that was basically putting aside on film and getting to see what you look like when you're on camera, because it's very different.
It's a different technique over there
Yeah.
And do they speak on that a little bit?
Yeah.
Yes. And then we did a resident director class, which was wicked, when we did sides and songs from the class, from the show. And that was those were kind of the basic structures of all of it. We didn't really have a straight dance class, that wasn't a thing.
There's no dance on.
Yeah.
So like, what if you're not, what if your vocal type, like what if you could sing something, like in terms of, I'm assuming they're saying like sing, a lead, whatever, like.
No. So we
you know what I'm
usually
saying? Or like,
use.
what if you're not like a pop rock singer,
So
but
we
you're
always,
rated already?
sure, so we always do Wicked or we always do Les Mis, and it's because those resident directors are typically working on another show as well.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you could do what you do best.
100%.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so like Chris Key does School of Rock and Les Mis and Phantom, which if you don't fall into one of those, okay, come on,
I know for me, like, I like musical theater, but I've been transitioning to TV and film.
Cool.
Would it be possible to bounce back and forth between some of those classes, or is it like, nah, you gotta pick one or the other?
To be honest, I don't know. We've never had anyone who wants to do that, only
Okay.
because we've never had two
Gotcha.
at the same time.
Yeah.
I want to say yes, but I don't know logistically if it would work with timings and schedule and stuff.
Okay.
So I just maybe.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi.
What was your favorite part of your exchange?
Of the whole exchange. I think getting to see a different part of the world and getting to just experience a culture that isn't this one. It's very different over there. I loved the people that I was on the exchange with. I think our group bonded really quickly. And I'm still in touch with a lot of those people. I thought the classes were great. I mean, I truly don't have any gripes about it. I had a really great housing situation, so like I became very close with those people as well. So I think my favorite part was just getting to expand myself as a human being. Yeah.
Since you said there's kind of no union situation, are there different types of contracts for one state?
No.
No.
There is a union. We have equity, but it's very weak. So like, it's not like you guys have it here.
Like we have different pay scales,
Yeah.
different contracts.
We don't have that. The contracts are typically the same, so an ensemble will receive the same contracts. Obviously, principals negotiate their pay. They have a different contract based on whether they're famous or not, or whether they've done 10 West End shows, or whatever it is. But typically, the contracts are all the same. We don't have non-union union.
Ricky will also be the one going over to London with the exchange. He knows the town really well, so it kind of just makes sense. Other questions? Going once? Going twice? Awesome. Thank you so much for coming today. I'm going to go ahead and send you an email with this footage, just in case you want to review anything. We're recording it for everyone who couldn't be here. And just all the information once more in an actual email. We need to know or half a paragraph from you. It can be as short as 3 sentences, if those are some powerful 3 sentences, or as long as you'd like it to be. By August 16th. I think that's our cutoff date. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can come talk to us. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.